I am Kimberly Prince, the owner of Nekter Juice Bar in Sacramento at Crocker Village and previously Midtown.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can't tell the story of how I got to Nekter without telling the whole story, right? So if I'm gonna tell the story, I'm gonna tell all of it. And it really started when I lived in Orange County. I found Nekter. They were a mom and pop business. They weren't a franchise yet at that time. And I have a background in nutrition and exercise science. I really loved the idea of having something like this, but at that time I was really young, so I looked into it, but they weren't a franchise yet. So fast forward, I ended up getting married when I lived in Orange County, and then a few years later I got divorced, and a conversation that I had with my dad actually changed the course of my future and my life, and I have him to really thank for having these businesses. And I moved back to Sacramento because of one small conversation we had one day where he told me, like, look, you either leave this marriage or, something else really bad could happen, and you want that decision to be yours. So I moved back to Sacramento thinking I would stay there temporarily, and then eventually moved back to my life in Orange County. And Nekter came to me at that point and said, hey, do you know anyone that wants to expand our brand in Sacramento? And I said, I might. And I took it to my dad thinking he would say, you're crazy. And instead he said, no, let's explore this a little bit. So that's how we came to be business partners. Nekter really created who I am as an adult version of myself. Coming into this business, was very shy, very introverted. I didn't like talking to people. I didn't know how to talk to people. I would make my mom make dentist appointments for me because I didn't want to talk to people I didn't know. And this business really threw me into uncharted territories where I had to become a more extroverted version of myself. And I didn't necessarily love that. I love being that version of me, but there's more to me, right? That's what I do for my business. That's what I do for work. I'm not defined by the business that I own or what I do, but how I do it. Fast forward, COVID hit, and no one in the world knew what the right answer was to do. Businesses were shutting down, but I knew very quickly that was not an option. I was really determined as an employer to maintain stability for my team, and that meant keeping our doors open every single day and keeping all of them employed. So I made some decisions during COVID that changed the course of my life and the journey I was on. I decided to get back into real estate at that time so that I could provide income to my team if things came to that. So I woke up one day, a year into owning 2 locations, and thought something that I never thought I would have be a thought in my mind was, I don't know that this is my long-term game. I was back in real estate, and the customer service industry, while I love it and all the things that it's brought to me and in my life, it's blessed me with a lot, but I felt like there was more out there for me, and I couldn't do that being tied to a business that relied on me so heavily, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So I made the decision one morning that this path had kind of come to an end, and I was at a fork in the road, and it was time for me to go on and do more in the community and for myself. So Nekter means everything to me because I wouldn't have anything I have now without Nekter.